Hey, welcome to Tarmac. I'm Dave.
I'm Matthew, and it's great to see you again. We're back.
We're back, yes. And today we're taking a look at the Mazda CX-30. It's the new crossover that apparently is just right. Let's take a look at this. Aside from breaking an entry and obviously abusing our furry friends, Goldilocks basically had things right. She didn't want things too hot or too cold. She wanted it in the middle, not too soft, not too hard, something in the middle. She wanted things to be just right. And that is exactly where the Mazda CX-30 is. It sits perfectly in between the CX-3 and the CX-5, but also has all the dimensions and good looks of the Mazda 3. Let's take a closer look. Up front, obviously, unmistakably Mazda with their new face and new design language, Kodo design language, of course. Very, very wide open, nice smiley face there. You've got the indicators that are really low down here. They're actually would be, I think, possibly hard to find when you're looking at them from the outside, but seem to work. You've got halogen DRLs and LED headlights. Obviously, being a crossover, it's sitting quite high. Nice low bumper down here, and plenty of air coming through into the engine. Round the side, at 4.3 meters in length, it's obviously not a full-size SUV, but it is a crossover, and even on 16-inch feet, it's got 175 millimeters of ground clearance, so it is raised up. You'll notice around the side here, plenty of guards around the wheel arches, and that runs all the way along the sills, which is really nice. And taken from the Mazda 3, you've got that lovely interplay of light all across the side here, so it's an attractive looking vehicle. What the Mazda designers have done, which is actually genius around the back here, rather than going for a boxy sort of rear end or a sloping roof, which would obviously compromise the headroom inside, what they've managed to do is bulge out this area here. This gives it more width, more stance, more vehicle presence on the road, but also means that it keeps a lovely flow to the rear end, and it integrates the roof spoiler and draws a lovely design to the rear. It's very, very attractive. Round the rear, again, unmistakably Mazda. I love this new design, or this new design language. LED tail lights, it's just, you can't miss it. You cannot miss the new look that Mazda have gone with. And inside, 430 litres of luggage space. Not huge, but then it's not a huge vehicle. Let's take a look under the bonnet. The model we've got today is the GSX, so this is the base model. There is a GTX and a Limited, and I think there's probably going to be a Takami one later on. But this one comes with the 2-litre Skyactiv engine, Skyactiv G engine actually. 114 kilowatts, 200 newton meters of torque, and actually a very frugal 6.5 litres per 100 in fuel economy. So it's, you know, it's going to take a fair few breaths in between filling up. Now let's take a look on the inside. Matthew will show you all around that.
It's very much modern Mazda in here actually. That new theme of theirs continues throughout this cabin over here. It's very much driver focused, and one thing that Mazda know how to do really well is they know where to put the soft stuff. So up here, the top of the dashboard is actually covered in leather. You get soft feeling plastic over here. Even this, which may look like a scratchy hard plastic to you, is actually got a little bit of a softer feel to it, which is quite a departure from the other cars in the segment. Another theme with, I guess, the new Mazda, you could say, is the minimalism. So if you look over here, that's the AC controls right there. You don't have 25 buttons, you just have about 10 at the most. The AC vents are down here, and it's all clean and very neatly arranged. Again, something they haven't changed with this new Mazda is the fact that that screen there is still not a touch screen. It's completely operated by this rotary knob over here, and you have the volume controls and home button and all that stuff down here, along with of course your parking brake. Part of the change in textures, there's a shiny piano black plastic over here, and if you look very closely in good light, you'll see that there's almost like a fake carbon fiber sort of pattern going on in there. And again, change in themes, and you have blue leather down the side here. This car of course is blue, even though it may have looked black from the outside. A very large central armrest here, covered in blue leather again, and you can't just flip it up, you have to push it back and then flip it up. And it unveils quite a deep cubby in here with a USB charging port, an SD card slot, and, well, not a cigarette lighter anymore, but you know, another place to plug in your phone basically. Good size space in here. Now, this is the base model, so you do get cloth seats in here, and as you go up the options range, you will get the full leather option, but there's still a bit of leather in here. They haven't starved you of it. I just pointed out that there's some on the armrest here and on that center console, but there's actually some really soft leather here on these side armrests. So when you're resting your arm on there, it feels really comfortable. And continuing with that luxurious theme of the new Mazdas, you get a leather wrapped steering wheel. All these buttons here are finished in aluminium, which feels great to touch actually. And you press that start button there, it'll bring alive this semi-digital dashboard. Both the rev counter and the fuel meter and temperature gauge are all analog, but the speedometer and your fuel efficiency monitor along with the range is actually fully digital. And it gives you the speed limit there, and again a little diagram of your CX-30 with its doors open, if you have any. This car also comes with head-up display, which you can't see because of the light, but it's usually found around there, which is great considering this is only the entry model. And not only the head-up display, but you get active lane keep assist, blind spot monitoring system, and a whole bunch of other safety goodies. It's got a lot of kit, this. The front is a nice place to be, and we know that Mazda like to keep it driver focused, but how's things for people in the back? Well, let's find out. For starters, when you're peering in from the outside, it may look a little bit cramped in here, but once you're in here, it's absolutely anything but, frankly. I've got plenty of knee room. This seat is actually pushed back for my position, and I'm nearly 6 foot. Plenty of knee room, plenty of foot room, and remember that sloping roofline, or rather the lack of it, that Dave pointed out earlier? Well, it comes in handy over here, because look at the amount of headroom I've got. I can fit my whole hand on top of my head. That's quite a bit of space. But anyway, this is a new Mazda, it's driver focused. Let's take a look at how it drives.
So the CX-30 takes all of Mazda's design and technology and creativity and puts it into a crossover. So it takes the great new look of the Mazda 3 with its interplay of light and its just great design great design theme and Kodo expression, and puts it on stilts 175mm up and slots it in between the CX-5 and the CX-3. So there's a lot going on, but it turns out to be, as they say, just right.
It's a really good combination of everything we've seen from Mazda recently in terms of the exterior styling as well as the way the interior is laid. What the CX-30 does is it combines that new look that we love from Mazda with the exterior being so sculpted, and then with the interior this minimalist sort of design, and everything's laid out really well and feels really great to touch actually.
Also, what they've done from a mechanical point of view or an MBH point of view is plug up all the holes. They've moved the speakers to a different place so that there's no noise coming from the outside. It's incredible. It's eerily quiet in here. We came past a bus earlier, and to be honest, couldn't hear it. It was excellent. And even in this base model, they've thrown so much technology in it. It's got torque vectoring plus, so G vectoring plus. It's got blind spot detection. It's got lane keep assist and adaptive, which actually helps you move the steering wheel over as well. So it's got everything recognition, to be honest. It's very cool.
It is really well stacked for, you know, a base model car and a base model small SUV or crossover.
And it's still giving you plenty of fun to drive, you know. Mazda haven't taken away that or removed itself from the driving experience. You can still have a little bit of fun before all the all the technology cuts in and takes all the fun away from you. So you can push your boundaries that little bit further, and as they say, once you run out of talent, it's there to jump on in and save the day.
And as you saw earlier, this car is very much driver focused in terms of the interior, which brings me to one of its, I could say, possible downsides, but it's just a little note of mine that for the passenger you feel a bit removed from everything. But again, you enjoy the drive, so who cares about the passenger?
Yeah, who cares about the passenger? Actually, Mazda care about the whole passenger situation. So safety equipment, loads of it. Your family will feel safe, and you as a driver just feel comfortable with the way you move the car around, or SUV or crossover or whatever it is.
It's got a really stable feel to it, and even in the corners it does ride high, but the body roll isn't that much. You're not being swung around from side to side every time Dave takes a hard corner.
The recessed screen, okay, if I was slightly smaller, well, if I was slightly smaller I wouldn't really be here, but there is this little lip across the dashboard that does make the screen just that little far removed, but then it looks like it's merging into the dashboard rather than an afterthought of a screen that's slapped on the front.
I guess it's just one of those quirks that come with the car, and it gives it a bit of character, actually. All these things that make it slightly different from your average crossover.
And there's, even in this 2 litres, got plenty of poke. It's you know, feels nice to drive, plenty of pickup. The 6-speed automatic picks up the gears nicely. It's you know, hasn't got that long CVT drone that comes with things. It's great, really good.
It is a really comfortable car to be in, and even in this base model with the cloth seats, they're quite supportive, and you just sort of sink in, and with the leather on the armrests and stuff like that, it's a really comfortable place to be.
So there you have it, Mazda's new CX-30 crossover. What they're saying is just right, and it is just right.
It's a great car, and it's so incredibly quiet in here. Nothing else will bother you when you're enjoying the drive. Thanks for watching, and we've been away for a while, but there's plenty more to come.
There really is. We've got a diary full of cars, so stay tuned and stay subscribed. See you real soon.
See ya.